So boring. He's not that good. That's what everybody's saying, but nobody wants to fight. Not as fidgety as he once was. Not being moved like a mountain. Whoa, what a big shot.
Short left hand.
There it is. That's how you do it.
Good solid short shot combination from
Got to
Shakur.
continue to get more consistent with that work.
Oh, there's the left hand to the body.
All right, he's on the track meet. He's the one with the track shoes now, right?
What is going on, fight fans? So we just had the Shakur Stevenson versus Artem Harturian fight, and a lot of things have come out of this fight. A lot of people's opinions on this fight are out there, and for the most part, it isn't good. For the most part, people felt that Shakur Stevenson was boring. ESPN for some very obvious reason was showing fans leaving the stadium, which is, by the way, I don't know if you guys have gone to any boxing fights, but doesn't matter what's going on in the boxing fight. A lot of people leave early, even if whatever the event is, if it's a comedy show, if it's a boxing fight, right? If it's a football game, a baseball game, it doesn't matter. People leave early all the time. You're always going to see people leaving early right before the fight ends because people are trying to beat the traffic in comparison to other people. So that's the thing that happens all the time. I mean, if you wanted to, you could probably, even in a tank fight, record the exit doors and see people leaving, because there are not people that love boxing that go to boxing fights all the time. There's people that just prefer to go for the experience, and they still don't want to be in traffic, so they leave early. So that to me was a little kind of dirty, especially since the Prudential Center was pretty much sold out, which is a good kudos to Shakur. But it was one of those kind of things where Top Rank, who's ESPN is running the event in conjunction with Top Rank, right? So do with that information what you will, but Shakur didn't want to re-sign. I think he's trying to go the route of Terrence Crawford because he's trying to get the fights. He's trying to make the big fights happen. So you can't knock him for not wanting to be with Top Rank anymore. But I think it was kind of foul play for ESPN to just record something that's really actually a normal occurrence at any event. But they used it to make to spin the narrative that Shakur Stevenson is boring. Now, one thing that I will say right off the bat, if you know me, you know that Shakur Stevenson is my favorite fighter. So that bias is there. However, I always try to put my biases to the side when I'm talking about boxing, regardless if it's my favorite fighter or not, which is why in the last fight that he had with De Los Santos, I gave him a lot of, deserved criticism for that one, because that one, in my opinion, he was a pretty poor performance, right? He was moving backwards. He was not being, aggressive. He wasn't being effective, anything like that. But now we're talking about the Artem fight, right? What do I think about the Artem fight? I honestly, truly believe that, people that watch boxing, a lot of people that watch boxing, don't really like boxing. I truly believe that. I would say this is what I said on Twitter. I'm going to say it here, or on X. Some people, right, or a lot of people, want to see a KO, and that's fine. If you prefer a KO, I get it. KOs are fun, right? Like, look at Tank versus Frank Martin. That was fun. That KO was fun. But I get preferring a KO. What I don't get is that if you're a fan of boxing, how can you not enjoy a fight if it doesn't have a KO? Because the majority of boxing, most of the time, it isn't a KO. But we've enjoyed it all the same. Looking at the CompuBox numbers of Shakur Stevenson versus Artem. Shakur Stevenson landed 170 punches through 446 punches, while Artem landed 74 punches through 423. So it was like a plus minus of 20, by the way, because it was 38.1% for Shakur Stevenson, 17.5% for Artem. But a lot of people praise the Mayweather-Canelo fight and praise Mayweather. Oh, Mayweather was so tactically sound, so great in the ring, right? That's one of the fights that people say Mayweather was amazing in, right? They use that as highlights all the time. Mayweather threw 505 punches, and Alvarez threw 526 punches. And Mayweather landed 232, and Alvarez landed 117. So it's a 46% to a 22%. It's a better plus minus than Shakur Stevenson's 24%, but only by 4 points, or 24 plus minus, but only by 4 points. So then you ask yourself, why did everybody praise Floyd Mayweather in this fight? No one was rocked. No one was hurt. Heck, I'll do one better, because if you go, oh, but that's Canelo Alvarez, but he was green, but now I don't want him to be green for this argument. Okay, cool, because Artem is trash, right? He's trash. Even though Frank Martin is supposed to be Tank Davis's biggest fight, but Frank Martin would have lost to Artem had he not had Artem take a knee in like the final round, right? Like, if Artem didn't do that, Frank Martin was going to lose to Artem because the fight was that close. He was struggling with Artem. But we're not going to mention that Shakur Stevenson made Artem look like he don't even belong in boxing. And Frank Martin, who everyone is catapulting Tank into the pound-for-pound list for, Frank Martin struggled with Artem, who's an Olympic bronze medalist, by the way. He struggled against an Olympic bronze medalist in Artem and got like super happy and got pretty much what the thing that helped him put him over the edge to get the win was the knockdown that he had. But I digress. Let's go ahead and look at Mayweather versus Guerrero, right? Mayweather versus Guerrero. Robert the Ghost Guerrero, it was nowhere near Mayweather's level, right? I mean, he fought Andre Berto, and because he beat Andre Berto, they went ahead and gave Robert Guerrero the Mayweather fight. Mayweather landed 195 punches out of 476, while Guerrero landed 113 out of 581, so 41% and 19%. So literally, he landed like 15 punches more than Shakur Stevenson. And the way Floyd fights is he fights off of the back foot the entire time. The way that Shakur Stevenson was fighting was literally he was the stalker. This was the complete opposite of his fight with De Los Santos. He was moving forward the entire time. He was the aggressor the entire time. He was making him miss while he was moving forward the entire time. And now I'm hearing people say, oh, but he doesn't move his head. You could tell he's not moving his, because the man has distance mastered. He doesn't need to move his head. He could just be at a certain spot and he knows how to get to like just slip back a little bit and you're going to miss. And he knows how to catch punches effectively. So he doesn't need to move his head like Floyd Mayweather, move his upper body like Floyd Mayweather. Although he can do that, he doesn't have to do that because he has distance mastered like incredibly. People are like, oh my God, he got hit. he got hit. You could tell he's not. Artem landed 17.5%. 17.5% of his punches. Do you guys understand that? Like, he landed one punch in round 1, one punch in round 2, 5 punches in round 3, 5 and 4, 6-5, 7-6, 6-7, 3-8, 11-9, 5-10, 3-11, 4-12. He is a leader in CompuBox, a leader in the amount of punches that people do not land on him and the plus minuses. He's a leader in that. But somehow he gets hit. He don't know what he's doing. What are y'all talking about? The dude leads the CompuBox numbers in not getting hit against his opponents. So, y'all either have to admit just something. Y'all have to admit something. Y'all can't keep pretending like this isn't the case. Yeah, something has to be admitted here. Either you simply just don't like Shakur Stevenson because he talks a lot of trash. And that's another thing that a lot of people have been saying. Hey, he talks like so much trash on Twitter. Every boxer does. Literally every boxer. If they're trash talkers, they're gonna be on social media talking trash if they are using social media. Oh, he said he gonna knock him out. You can't say you're gonna knock him out and then don't. Every single boxer for every single promotion says they're gonna knock out their opponent. What type of promotion is, yeah, I'm gonna take that dude to decision. I'm gonna take him to decision. Y'all watch. I'm gonna take him to decision. Who does that? Nobody. There's no point because it's not promotionally advantageous to say that. Who's gonna go watch your fight if you're telling people you're gonna take him to a decision? Also, knockouts don't just, you can't just control a knockout. Like it either comes or it doesn't. And if you're going chasing a knockout, that's actually really, really foolish in boxing. You should take the knockout if it comes, but you shouldn't be going chasing the knockout. Shakur Stevenson is not a one-punch knockout artist. What Shakur Stevenson can do is he can, bully you and with volume punches get you out of there, which is what happened with, for example, Yoshino. That happened also with Jamel Herring. He can volume punch you and get you out of there. Nobody was saying that he was boring when he was fighting Robson Canseco, and this was pretty much a Robson Canseco type performance. But all of a sudden, there's a magnifying glass on Shakur Stevenson where he has to knock people out. And then they're saying, oh, after this, you think he's really going to beat Tank Davis? That is the most casual boxing fan thought process ever. I mean, Canelo Alvarez was knocking people out. Floyd Mayweather at that time was not knocking people out. You think Floyd Mayweather was going to beat Canelo Alvarez? Yes, because he did. Because who cares about if you can knock people out or not? I think a lot of people are delusional by Tank because Tank does not fight the top competition. He's about to start doing that, but he doesn't. He just fought Frank Martin, who struggled with Artem, who Shakur Stevenson dog walked the entire time. Shakur Stevenson is a 3-division world champion, not with the regular belts, a 3-division world champion with the official belts. Shakur Stevenson only fights for the world titles. Tank Davis does not. Shakur Stevenson fights higher level competition than Tank Davis. Tank fought Ryan Garcia, but Ryan Garcia was not a world champion. He was just famous. He was just popular. Shakur Stevenson has fought Oscar Valdez, Jamel Herring, Robson Canseco, Yoshino. He fights the highest level of competition that you can fight. He fights for the world title. He's beaten world champions. He's won the lineal title. And y'all be like, oh, but he hasn't proven it against a famous person, because that's what a lot of people, they only see people as good if they're famous, right? If they know who they are. Not if they're ranked in the WBC or ranked in the WBA or ranked in the IBF. So it's just it's one or two things. You either just don't like Shakur Stevenson, so no matter what, if he doesn't get a knockout, you're gonna try to say, oh, the fight was trash. It's like literally the man was dog walking him. The man was super accurate, and he was making him miss while being the aggressor. But somehow that's still not good. That's still boring. then either you just don't like Shakur Stevenson and you're fronting, or you don't like boxing. Because if there isn't a knockout, the fight is boring is absolutely crazy to me, especially considering that Mayweather Guerrero wasn't any different, except with Mayweather is on the back foot and making him miss, while Shakur Stevenson is on the front foot making him miss. The punches were very, very similar. I mean, Floyd Mayweather landed 195 punches. Shakur Stevenson landed 170 punches. So I really don't understand. I don't get it. What makes you like Floyd beating Robert Guerrero, but then you don't like Shakur Stevenson beating? Because no one was hurt in the Robert Guerrero fight, but at least in the Shakur Stevenson fight, Artem was hurt to the body and he went on his bicycle, started literally booking it. So I'm confused. I'm confused by boxing. I think that people are just leaning into, let's keep saying that he's boring because that's going to make it so that hopefully he doesn't ever get the Tank fight. Because that's a little underlining undertone that I'm getting. I'm seeing people saying he needs to retire. Oh, please retire. Why? If you don't need to watch his fights. Are you saying please retire because you're literally internally in fear that if Shakur Stevenson fought Tank Davis, that Tank Davis will lose? I personally believe that if Shakur Stevenson fought anybody at 135, he would beat them. That's including Lomachenko. That's including Tank Davis. Anyways, the fight to me was a great fight. It was a really good, dominant boxer fight. No different than how I felt when I saw Floyd Mayweather fight Canelo Alvarez. No different than how I felt when I saw Floyd Mayweather fight Robert Guerrero. The fact that people are looking for only knockouts for a fight to not be boring is blowing my mind and letting me know that a lot of people just either are disingenuous to make sure that Shakur Stevenson is like brought down as much as possible to protect the people to protect fighters that they love so that Shakur doesn't fight them, or simply do not like the sport of boxing. If you only want knockouts to make a fight entertaining, you don't like the sport of boxing. You don't. If people have to be rocked and hurt and stumbling and for you to feel that the fight is entertaining, you don't like the sport of boxing. I understand, again, preferring that. It's fun. It's fun to watch. But not being able to enjoy a fight without that, you don't like the sport of boxing. The man was the aggressor the entire time. The man was walking forward the entire time. Contrary to Floyd versus Guerrero, but we still praise Floyd versus Guerrero. Contrary to Floyd versus Canelo, but we still praise Floyd versus Canelo. There were moments that Floyd stayed in the pocket for the entire time. Shakur stayed in the pocket, and there's people on Twitter, on X, disingenuously using the first few rounds when he was feeling out Artem and trying to get his rhythm and his flow, and using clips of that with Shakur moving back in the first 2 rounds. After the first 2 rounds, the entire time he was just moving forward. But people are using the first 2 rounds to be like, look at this, he did it again, guys. Look, he's running. He's just feeling him out. Like, what is it you guys want? Rock'em Sock'em Robots? I'm very confused. I'm truly confused. Guys, again, yes, Shakur is my favorite fighter, but I gave him hell for the fight with De Los Santos. I gave him hell for that fight. I keep it a buck. I keep it 100, even for my favorite fighter. He literally was the aggressor in this fight. What exactly do you guys want from him? He's not a knockout artist. Not every boxer is. But not being a knockout artist also doesn't mean that he's going to lose to somebody who is a knockout artist. Because Floyd done fought a lot of knockout artists, Manny Pacquiao, and Floyd still watched them. So that shouldn't be the meter why you think that a Tank would win against a Shakur Stevenson. Tank beating Frank Martin, who struggled with Artem, who Shakur Stevenson made look like he was garbage. You can't sell me on the fact that Shakur would lose to Tank because of Tank beating Frank Martin and Shakur completely outboxing and walking down Artem. There's no way you can sell me that. Those two things don't sell me that Shakur would lose to Tank. And Tank was getting tagged up by Frank Martin. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and end the video there. Let me know what you guys thought about the fight. I thought it was a really good fight, but you know, a lot of people think, nah, it was boring. It was boring because he didn't get a knockout. Like, all right, man. You sure you like boxing, bro? You sure you really like the Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo fight, or you was just making that up? You sure you like Floyd Mayweather versus Guerrero, or any of Floyd's fights after he fought Carlos Baldomir? You sure you liked any of those fights, or you just making that up? Anyways, guys, until the next one, I'm curious to see what Shakur Stevenson does next. I would love for him to fight a Lomachenko or a Tank Davis, but we will have to wait and see. I think after Lomachenko, there's really nobody for Tank to fight. Shakur is right if Tank wants to collect all the belts, because Shakur, you know, has the WBC belt. So is he going to try to be undisputed, or is he going to try to not be undisputed? Who knows? He's finally moving into fighting for the official belts. So if you're going to fight Lomachenko for the other official belt, so you should be fighting Shakur, right? Let's see. People are not going to want it because I think people are scared of Shakur beating Tank Davis. In my opinion, he will outbox Tank Davis. That power doesn't mean anything if he can't really land it. So anyways, until the next one, guys, peace out.